step forward.
Hello. This is Charlie of the Then and Now podcast. We're here for another episode. No,
first there was a hat, then it was the voice.
I wasn't even thinking about it until you said something about it. I was like, why not? Fuck it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a very special guest today. We got another interview for you guys. The Ignant Rizzy, or is it Ignant Rizzy, or is it the? What do you prefer? Just Ignant.
Oh my god! The funny thing is, my friends call me the Ignant Rizzy just to be assholes. Like, oh my god, is that the Ignant Rizzy?
With two E's.
Yes, exactly. Nah, it's just Ignant Rizzy.
But when you get the in front of your name, you're established. Yeah. You get that.
That's exactly why they say it.
Pretty much. Yeah, United.
That is exactly why they say it. They're like, yo, you blowing up like you're a the now. I'm like, yo, chill, fam.
Right.
Not out of the trenches yet.
Before we go anywhere else, my compatriot here noticed you had a little bit of an accent, my boy. Are you from New York?
I'm from the New York, New Jersey area.
Okay.
So yeah.
I figured
I'm always in Brooklyn, so
that's why I was about to say Brooklyn.
That'll do it.
Little Brooklyn, yeah.
I just can see the beats on your feet right now.
See the Timbs right in the closet. We ain't gonna take those out. We ain't gonna pull those out right now.
Also, it's funny. I love how you have the Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse shirt on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Miles Morales is from Brooklyn as well.
Yeah.
Right,
obviously, the first preliminary shit we got to ask all the guests we have on, kind of going through the timeline of their career or whatever they do, is your beginnings of YouTube. Like, how did you start? What made you want to start? Give me all about the preliminary stuff.
It's so funny how this actually began. It all started back in 2013, because I remember wanting to actually do YouTube and do videos, because I watched people like Dashy XP back then, before he was Dashy Games. I watched Gang Grumps, Maximilian do Cross Counter, a bunch of fighting game channels. So I was like, I feel like I can do this. And a lot of my friends always did tell me I have a personality for stuff like this. So I started out doing just like random gameplay videos. I remember my first video I ever recorded was fucking Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna start out with like my favorite game ever. I remember I was drunk one night after fixing up my entertainment center. I was like, you know what? I feel like I can do this right now. I deleted that shit the next day. Like, nah, this ain't it. So my first few months on YouTube, just trying to get my feet wet, just recording and uploading random gameplays and things like that, random, playthroughs. And then Injustice 1 came out, Justice Gods Among Us came out. And I started doing arcade runs for that. And they blew up. And it was like my first surge of subscribers. And like my first real quote unquote exposure on YouTube. So that went along for a while. And then I kind of took a break for a good minute, up until maybe late 2014. I wasn't on it as much. And then I remember Mortal Kombat X being announced and things like that. And by that time I decided I just want to do fighting games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I saw Mortal Kombat X was, being pushed and things like that. So I was like, how can I go about making content for this video? And then I was like, the YouTuber Maximilian, he does these things called reaction videos. I want to try to see how that works. So I did one, and everything pretty much took off from there. But there was a caveat to that, because when you do one reaction video, people want you to react to everything.
Right.
Yeah. So at one point, I was just basically a reaction channel, which is not even just fighting games or video games or anything like that, but just like random stuff, until I was like, I'm not feeling this. So I got out of that. So I dropped those completely. I was by like 2015, late 2015, I was like, I'm gonna just drop this completely. And people were like, you're gonna alienate half your audience, and people who are here for you for this. I'm like, I'm willing to take that risk. This is not what I want to do.
Right.
So then I started just like strictly fighting games. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. And I feel the most creative doing things like this.
Right.
Like the way I learned how to edit and all of these techniques and everything like that. And I'm able to put my full personality into my gameplay videos, as opposed to just sitting here watching videos and things like that. So I had a lot more fun doing that. And then years passed, and I'm just like progressing and everything until we got to 2016, where all the King of Fighters BS started. And
it's so funny to hear you say King of Fighters BS, because King of Fighters is like, it's a huge game. They just released 15.
Yeah,
recently.
exactly.
And I know my co-host wasn't as familiar with that series, but it's one of those series that's bigger, I guess, the further you go east.
It's bigger. KOF is bigger in Hispanic speaking countries. Mm-hmm. Well, in Spanish speaking countries like Mexico, Brazil, just South America, things like that. But
for whatever reason, the U.S. it's not as big in the U.S.
No, not at all. It's the biggest it's ever been right now because of KOF 15.
Right.
Okay.
15. So I got to ask this question too, and this is an important question for Mr. Brooklyn himself. Who is your main of mains, though? Is it Terry? I know you did obviously pretty much an expose on Terry Bogard.
Yeah, I did.
I know you like to choose Chris as well, but who is your main of mains?
My main of mains is probably Yuri Sakazaki and Kyo Kusanagi. Those are my top two in every KOF game.
Okay. Yeah, because Yuri reminds me almost of like Sakura's like older sister in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's the precursor to the Sakura from Street Fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right on. Yeah, but she requires skill. You can't be like a.
Oh yeah. It's not like something. She has just a bunch of stuff that you just have to work on, because she's not one of those traditional characters or those traditional Shoto characters that you see in Street Fighter or anything like the other characters that uses her style in KOF. Right. She has a lot of differences in comparison to those characters. So the thing she does I gravitated towards that a lot more because it's really goofy and gimmicky, and I love stuff like that. Like, it's stupid.
No, I feel you.
So I learned from one of your early previous videos that you said your primary love is music, like you're a musician by trade.
Yeah.
How did that start? And then how do you go about putting that love and passion for music into your videos, or do you do that at all?
Music started back in 8th grade. In 2000, I'm like old as hell. Music started in 2001, 2002. I used to rap with a bunch of my friends back in middle school, and I just kept going along with that until 2002, 2003. I learned how to make my own beats. Like, I don't rap as much anymore, but I still do produce. I still audio engineer and things like that. And for one, I am extremely OCD when it comes to sound quality, especially in my videos. I went to school for audio engineering, so when I'm doing my videos, if it doesn't sound the way I want it to, I'm like freaking out. Like, okay, everything has to be balanced a specific way and things like that. And as far as incorporating music into my videos, I do have sections I do have videos where I am like live producing a beat and things like that. I put some of my music in my videos, things like that. It's just like slow ways of exposing my current audience to what I actually want to do with my life and my careers and things like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Right on.
We may have to talk business on music later on. Then
oh, definitely.
We're running low on beats. We try to, for our videos we always try to have background music, because again, I'm a music head myself. Our other co-host Otis, he loves music as well, so I try to incorporate some into there. But then we only have so much copyright free beats, because the thing that'll kill me is that I'll go on YouTube and see all these producers with some fire ass cold type beats or different remixes of different anime or movies that I love, and they're all copyrighted and I can't use any of them.
Fam, I made a beat at one point that I put on YouTube, and it was false copyright claim because he used the same exact sample another producer used for one of his beats.
Wow.
I'm like, how?
Right.
I didn't even know you existed. What the hell?
Come at me? I made this up. Right.
I'm assuming he didn't let that go either. I'm like, he kept that copyright claim.
I think he did. I don't think it was ever resolved.
That's crazy.
That's YouTube copyright system for you.
Thanks, YouTube, as always.
You're
right, though. I mean, audio in and of itself is some of the most important things. I was just on a set with the dude who was running obviously the boom and handling all the audio, mixing everything else there. And he was the director was like, that guy right here is our single most important aspect of this entire film. We can pretty much get by with everything else, all of the crap on here, but with having bad audio, no one cares what your movie is. No one knows about it. They'll turn it off in a minute. So it really is overrated. Underrated.
This is one of the main things I like. Even before I started doing everything that I'm doing right now, I always have to make sure I had a decent microphone. I had decent levels to anything that I'm doing. I already know how to use certain effects and everything like that. I just needed everything to sound good. Just in case I can't be on camera, I don't want to sound like I'm talking through a water bottle or a tube or something like that. Or through a PlayStation microphone. Like, I can't stand it.
So as the bus comes over, PlayStation, just throw it right
I swear to God.
We had similar, or at least I had similar stuff starting out, and I had to try to get with some other colleagues of mine to kind of recommend different mics and stuff like that for me. How did you kind of get to your final destination as far as like your mic quality? Did you already kind of have this information? Or how did you go about finding it?
As far as the mic quality and everything, since I do audio engineer, I had prior knowledge to microphones and things like that. What sounds good and would it be good for this specific setting as opposed to a quote unquote recording studio setting? Mm-hmm. So I did some research. Went to a couple of YouTube videos. Like, okay, I need this microphone in comparison to this microphone, and you know how they'll do live testing and things like that. So I listened to what sounds the best raw without effects and compression and things like that. And whatever sounds good that doesn't, kill your entire bank account, I just went with that. So right now I'm using a AT, I think this is a 2021. Before I was using I initially went with a blue snowball.
Yes, I had the snowballs back then.
Yeah, I think we all were there at one point.
That's what everyone's first mic is a snowball, pretty much.
Yeah, like I went with that for a while until I made enough money doing YouTube to buy different audio equipment because I didn't want to use what I was using to record people at my house.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We have, I think I don't have the AT, but I forgot what model it is, but it is what it is. Early information I saw from one of your videos, you said you started in 2013, but I saw a video that you posted a while ago that talked about you starting YouTube in 2006 and like having multiple channels. How did that?
Why do you know this?
Well, ask me how I know. I got my sources.
Yeah. Back in 2006, this was before I even wanted to take YouTube seriously.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube was pretty small back in 2006.
Yeah, back in 2006, 2007, whenever it was, I used to just put random videos. Like I would be rapping. I would just talk about random stuff. I had no specific direction that I wanted to go. So it was just, oh, hey, I did this video with no type of editing or anything like that. I'm gonna just throw it up here and just see how it's received and things like that. Either that or I would just throw up random music that I recorded and just put it on YouTube.
Right.
It's funny though too, because it's in a way you were able to you weren't worried about anyone kind of criticizing your work back in 2006.
Yeah.
But what you do now with all the videos you have of you fighting games are very competitive by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so, are you ever worried about how you will be received when people watch you fighting? If you see, oh my gosh, this guy isn't as good as somebody else, or at Evo competitions when everyone's like so hardcore about being able to pull off crazy moves. Do you ever worry about that?
That comes with the territory. That's something you gotta not worry about as much, especially when you're in a fighting game space, because the general audience, when they look at specific people on YouTube playing fighting games, they're gonna expect you to be at a specific level. They're gonna expect you to know the best tech or the best moves and the best combos and things like that. But if you worry about stuff like that on a constant basis, it's gonna hinder you.
Yeah,
like because you're gonna be worried about how good you're looking as opposed to how good the video actually is. Like you got to keep a specific focus when it does come to fighting games. Even though you are going to get people who are going to criticize whatever you do, no matter how much, no matter how good you are doing. There are people say, oh, you're winning too much. This got to be fake. You're cutting out your losses. Oh, you're losing too much. You're trash. Oh, that combo was trash. You could have did this. It's just like, it's an echo chamber. So you just gotta get out of that space, get into your own space and enjoy what you're doing. Like, I don't consider myself good. I consider myself decent in fighting games at best. But the way I can make my videos, I can make it like funny. I could put like dumb edits and things like that. I just want to make it enjoyable and funny. I'm not trying to look like I'm trying to compete in Evo or any other tournament or things like that.
Right on. And have you ever had it happen where, I mean, you don't have to tell us if you don't want to, we can edit this out, have you ever had it happen where you rage quit, like someone beat you so bad or you lost so bad, no, a fight you said I'm done, it's kind of rage quit on the spot?
No, I've had fights where I got my ass whooped and I made it look as funny as I possibly can. Like that, getting your ass whooped is content. People don't understand that. That is content. Like if you get beat in the worst way, make it the best you possibly can. Like you don't have to rage in order to have people watch you. Like it's not necessary.
Good point. Yeah, that's a real good point.
Speaking of Evo and all those competitions, have you ever competed professionally or any like tournament or anything like that?
I've competed in Evo. My only competition was Evo 2019, and I've done 1 or 2 online tournaments. Evo, there's some pressure at Evo because you're amongst killers from all over the world, just there, all trying to get to the same spot. Yes, in person. Personalities are out there.
Anime tournament.
Oh yeah,
smoke everywhere. That's crazy.
Man, look, it's like being in Dragon Ball and going to the Budokai tournament. Like you just see all these random factions and groups, and everybody's in different setups playing different games. You're like, oh god, which one of these do I gotta play?
Right on, right. Yeah, since that big moment that moment on Street Fighter 3 with the parry. Since then, that's like a 90s thing too. It's been so hardcore. The fans are really, really hardcore about Evo since then.
Yeah. Shout out to Justin Wong and Daigo.
Daigo. Yeah, the Daigo parry.
Yeah.
So we know you post a lot of King of Fighters content, but do you have a particular fighter that you kind of just go back to recurrently?
I go to a lot. A lot of them just don't get posted on YouTube. I like a lot of old school fighting games. Like my favorite will always be Capcom versus SNK 2.
Nice.
Then
Classic.
sometimes I go back to Marvel versus Capcom 2, the old Mortal Kombat games. I play Tekken every once in a while. Guilty Gear is a big one for me.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot. Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter Alpha 3. Those are like my favorite 2 Street Fighter games. But yeah, there's a ton. Like I have an entire list I can go down.
That's awesome. I love it. Is there's always like that kind of that fighter or that's someone that you go up against that you kind of just despise? I don't mean in real life, not a person, but I mean a character that you don't like fighting. Is there anyone in King of Fighters or Street Fighter 3 or any of those games where when you have to fight that character that you're like, man, why did I do this character again? For me, I used to hate fighting Akuma back in like Street Fighter, like 4 or 3, one of those games. I was like, he's overpowered. Every time he's overpowered.
Oh yeah, he was strong in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
but oh my god, if any of my people are watching this, you already know the answer to this. But for y'all, Athena and King of Fighters, I hate that character with a passion. With a passion, I can't stand this character. I have people I hate fighting in every game, but as far as the top character I hate fighting in anything is Athena.
And why Athena? What is it about her that just
her voice? her constant projectile throwing, her reflect, her teleport and her uppercut. It's a pain. It's a pain. Mainly her voice.
I love about this. My best friend back on the East Coast is named Athena. So anytime someone says that name, I always like think of her. So for you to say I hate Athena, it's like
like nah, you gotta disassociate.
She's subscribed to this channel too. She's like, what did you just say?
Right.
Like what I do.
So I know you talked about how you like put a lot of time and effort into your edits for your videos. I'm assuming you're a self-taught editor, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into this learning? Did you just watch a bunch of YouTube videos or have a friend that taught you? Or
initially I learned how to edit in college, but it was just one intro class that just teach you the basic stuff. I'm pretty much self-taught through a lot of YouTube videos and things like that. Like I learned most of my editing from 2016 to now. Like every time I would want to learn how to do a specific thing within my programs, I use Sony Vegas. So whenever I would want to learn how to use a specific thing, I would just have to go to YouTube and just try to implement it from that. Like that's like YouTube been my best teacher as far as video editing and audio editing. I swear.
YouTube University, right on.
I swear it's crazy. YouTube, even with me, I taught myself about editing and had a little bit of a mentor with me, but I feel like it's weird how YouTube it in a way like creates content, but then creates content to get more people to create content.
Yeah,
always all kinds of information to teach you how to do it. It's insane. But I think it's why it's
that snake, the Ouroboros snake, where it's eating its own tail.
I swear to God.
So, and going back to your music in particular, I know you said you rapped a lot in school and you produce a lot of your own beats, and I want to get into this controversial question. Give me your top 5 artists. They don't have to be rap, don't have to be R&B. It's top 5 artists that you could say either you love or inspirations for what you do, and et cetera, et cetera.
Top 5 artists.
All time.
Joe Budden when he was rapping.
Damn, I swear to God, I've never in my life heard anybody have Joe Budden in their top 5. That's crazy.
It was a minute ago. It was only for a minute that he did. Yes, it was kind of hard. It's a very narrow window.
Man, look, between 2002 and 2000 and maybe whenever Slaughterhouse ended, Joe was my dude, and that might be Jersey bias, but dude was spitting. Dude was spitting back then. But there's Joe, Eminem.
Mean Girls soundtrack even had him. That's how crazy it was. Yeah,
everybody just refer to Pump It Up. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Nah, you got to listen to his mixtape stuff.
Yeah.
But there's Joe. Like I said, when he was rapping, we ain't gonna talk about podcasts, Joe. There's Eminem, Nas.
Okay.
Jadakiss. Okay. Yeah, Jadakiss. And 4th would probably be, it's a tie between Royce the 5'9" and Lloyd Banks.
Okay.
I like Royce. I love Royce.
Yeah, Royce is my dude.
Yeah, so kind of stay in the whole Eminem, Royce. That camp.
So lyricist, I fuck with you already. That's I have my ignorant shit, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta have it every once in a while.
Cole, JID, like the lyricist, that's my shit. I love the difficulty and the technique in it. Are you still like writing, right? Are you still writing? So you said you produce a lot more now, but do you still have a spark to write every now and then?
Every now and again, I might jot something down, but nowhere near as crazy as it was a couple of years ago. Because that's what I wanted to do. But then at some point, I took a music business class, and then you learn about the music industry, and there's a whole nother can of worms right there.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is not something I want to get myself into.
Right.
So I just rather, make beats and produce and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Fair enough. Good, man. Smart. That's very smart. Okay. Very cool. Have you had a chance to help other, aspiring musicians and artists produce their content as far as
I used to at a previous job back in 2008, 2009, I had a guy that was kind of big, like formally big in the music industry behind the scenes and things like that. He worked with a lot of artists, the biggest one being Lauryn Hill.
What?
Yeah, he worked
big. She ruled the 90s.
Yeah, he was like on tour with her and everything. And I couldn't argue with it because I saw the tour badge and everything, and I saw his accolades. But he was my mentor for a while back then. He was teaching me a lot more stuff about production and engineering and things like that. Like I used to go to his house after work, and he would have this studio with this huge Behringer board. I'm like, the first time I saw it, I was like, you have all of this. Why are you working at this job with me? What the hell? Right. But yeah, he taught me a lot, and I used to go to his house and help produce other artists that he had there. I've had people come here and record their music here. I've had people send me stuff that they wanted me to mix and master and things like that. So yeah, I've definitely worked with quite a few people. No one like really, really big, but I worked with some people.
That's what's up. We may have to hire you ourselves, and
I told you, I'm trying to get some beats from him at some point. We need more music I can just play with and use without having to worry about changing pitches and shit on it.
I swear to God, I hate having to change the pitch of something I made. I'm like, I know how it's supposed to sound, and this is not it.
Right.
No, I love it.
So, regards to creating your videos, about how long would you say it? Just for fans that kind of may be interested in your process, about how long does it take you to record, edit, and get a video out? Let's say maybe like a 20-minute video.
A 20-minute video, I'm super OCD with my editing. Like, I want to make sure everything is like as close to perfect as I possibly can make it. Like, I don't want any dead air. I don't want any like unnecessary cuts or have something with like too much space in between or something like that. So for a 20-minute video, I can probably take about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much the raw video is.
Right.
And depending on how much is there. For a reaction video, those are like super quick. I can do those in like a heartbeat.
Right on.
But yeah, editing, I take my time when I'm editing. Like I try not to rush that at all.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, did you do a reaction video to King of Fighters 15 when the trailers for that dropped back in the day?
Yeah, I've done a few of them. Well, I've done almost all of them. Like there was, aside from the first maybe 3 or 4, because I was on a hiatus from YouTube at the time. But yeah, I've done those, and those are what really got me known in the community. Like just me doing those reactions and covering the game and things like that.
Word. Okay. Very cool.
Now I want to ask you a updated question of you answered this question in a video you did like 5-6 years ago, I think now, in regards to the top 5 creators you want to work with. I think your boy Max was in that, obviously a lot, and Dachi was still in there. Do you have like an updated list of creators you haven't worked with that you want to work with?
An updated list. Damn.
Because by now you may have actually worked with some of them too.
Right.
I worked with a few people.
Yeah.
Let me see. Good God, who am I even watching at this point? I know the main person I want to work with is this guy named Professor Thorgy. He does a lot of fighting game retrospective stuff and a lot of lore-based stuff. So he's like very, very informational.
Right.
Like I want to work with him at some point. Do I have anyone? I would have to go down my subscription list to even see.
Right.
Always want to work with Donchi. Like anytime we work together, it's something else. Like I love working with him.
Well, not to cut you off in your thought process, but maybe you can combine the two. So you're talking about working with a Donchi, and I know you love a good competition, a good fighting game. We have something on our channel called Loose Cannons, which is where we have 2 competitors go head to head in a debate of kinds, of sorts, essentially. And so if you're up for it, we have to have you come back on and actually do a debate with Donchi about something, whether it be like, who was
MF. I was going to bring that up, but you just
I know. It was the perfect time. It was the perfect time to do it. But as far as like who was the better fighter, Ryu or Terry, or who has the best kind of ultra move, that kind of stuff, whatever you want it to be about. But
I'm definitely down for that one.
Right on.
We have one up and a couple of older ones we did like when we were starting on Facebook a long time ago. But I think right now we have Donchi and the Masked Man are the 2 we got scheduled for the next one coming up, and I don't know what they're gonna do exactly. I don't want to reveal it, but we try to. Biggest thing is it's not toxic, so there's no yelling, no screaming.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course.
2, we try to have it different where it's not just a who would kill who. It's more of a look into, like I think a long time ago we did. For me, I competed. I did Django from Django Unchained versus Beatrix the Bride, about who had the most tragic backstory.
In the Tarantino world, and he debated against me, and I won.
Damn,
we'll let him lie to you like that. But we love to get you on for that. We love collaborating with more creators, especially Black creators.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, my man.
Love to get you on that. And of course, before we let you go too fast, if you yourself were Rizzy, if you were a character in a fighting game of any kind, what would your signature move be? Everyone has a signature move.
That's something I think about all the time. And my friends always saying I would have a Tim kick.
That all right?
Like, my dumb ass will have something like Shawn Michaels and Sweet Chin Music, but I'm wearing Tims.
God, that's
all right.
Funny.
Fair.
You know what? I literally was thinking, the Tim thing crossed my mind, but I was literally thinking like a bubble coat, body to body, like suplex. It's like pop up off of somebody with a bubble coat. That's
God. It's like the most Brooklyn signature move ever.
So it doesn't help that I've been watching a lot of wrestling stuff recently. So I'm like, this isn't helping right now.
I know you have an affinity for Sasha Banks in the WWE, but do you still have any like favorites that you pay attention to right now?
Like most of the stuff I stopped watching wrestling years ago. Mainly the stuff I've been watching has been like old school highlights and certain videos about certain specific events that are going on in the current world of wrestling. But my old favorites will always be Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and Sting.
Oh, Sting? Okay. Yeah, I used to love his like whole makeup and everything and crazy.
Yeah. I think he became one of my favorites when he changed his makeup.
Yeah.
Funny enough, another weird, I guess, it's a plug pretty much, but just put out a video over on the movie from the 90s, The Crow. Apparently, Sting got his makeup from that movie. That's where his inspiration was from. I didn't even know that. I did the video. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like WWE.
I mean, if you look at it too, from the first one, Brandon Lee's music makeup with it looked very, very similar actually too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, man, we don't want to hold you up all day. Again, thank you for coming on, man. Like we wanted to get you on for a minute after the interview with Don't You. We love your content. We want to promote more Black creators if we can, and just collab with more people. Get involved with more people in the community that we can collab with. So yeah, thank you, man. Do you have anything you want to plug before you leave? Any music stuff or any? Obviously, your channel will be. I'll put your channel in the description.
Absolutely,
but anything else?
Okay, we have a funny thing. We have a KOF tournament coming up on May 1st.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On May 1st it's not even a bunch of pro players. It's a bunch of people within the KOF community. We're having a team tournament. Right. So I'm going to be teamed with YouTubers King J and Rufelmonger, and there's going to be 7 other teams having a party battle tournament in KOF 15. So that's going to be on Rome himself's channel, twitch.tv/Rome_himself is going to be there, and that's going to be wild.
I love it. I love it.
I'll get his channel link in the description then.
We'll give it the link.
Yeah.
Is this for Ultimate Bragging Rights?
More than likely, yeah, but it's also sponsored by SNK.
Oh,
so
wow.
There are prizes on the line.
Oh, it's legit. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching this.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it too, man. All right, that's dope. I love it.
I'm trying to not get washed as bad.
That shit. Anyway, thank you for coming on, man. Again, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank y'all for having me here.
Looking forward to seeing you next time.